We are live. Let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Welcome back to another live and amplified Indie Fusion podcast. I'm your host, Tom Quiet, and we're back at it again with another amazing podcast. Today, we have a very special guest joining us. We have Dawson Cole. How's it going today, man?
It's going all right.
I feel it. It's finally starting to become like springtime, where it's not like god awful cold, but
I need spring. I'm so tired of the cold. It just messes all this up, and it's when I walk outside, I'm just immediately in pain because it's just so cold and I hate it.
Right. It's like I go outside and I just feel it in the hips, and it's like, oh, this sucks. Like, get me further south. I'm good. So.
Oh yeah, I feel like when I turn 23 too, like the cold weather started to affect the bones a little bit. I just feel just like, like I can't stand it.
I'll just wait till you turn 37. It doesn't get much easier. So.
Well, time's flying by like crazy, so it'll be here before I know it.
Right. So you've been in Nashville for 2 years. Did you come to Nashville just for music or school or?
Oh yeah. Nashville's been the goal, been the dream for a long time. So dropped out of college after my 2-year stint at Madisonville Community College. Shout out. But I dropped out after my little 2 years and packed it up, and here I am.
Nice. Did you get your associate's degree or whatever? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's going to come in clutch down line somewhere, I hope.
I got it was like a business program that I did. And so I got like a good basic understanding of taxes and money,
nice. Fair. Very fair. So you're originally from Kentucky, just a couple hours north of Nashville there. Was music kind of always a part of your life, or?
Oh yeah, I've been surrounded by music for as long as I can remember. I grew up in church, so I started singing in church probably when I was 3. My great grandmother, she played piano. My great aunt, she also played piano in church, so that was a big impact. And probably my parents too. My parents, not musicians, but I grew up being cultured, and hands off to them. I'm so glad they have good taste in music.
Right. And so when did you kind of realize that you could sing, or it was something that you should be doing?
It was something that just it developed over time for sure. Like, I mean, growing up in church, I started singing in church, and as I got older, I kept singing in church, and I always sang in the car, and my family would tell me like, oh, you sang your butt off, and I remember when I was 5 years old, I had a toy microphone, and it had little buttons all on the bottom of it, which would make applause and different sound effects and stuff. And I tore it up, buddy.
Guys, I feel that. Hey, so you're a natural performer at a young age.
Oh yeah, my mama will tell you straight up. I've been putting on a show since I was little.
Fair. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
But I guess I realized, I realized that, getting back to your question, I realized I wanted to do music. Like, okay, that's what I want to do. Was I watched the movie Coal Miner's Daughter with my aunt, and I saw, her Loretta's stage of going through the music industry and growing in it and performing. And I saw there was a scene that she was playing on stage, and people loved her, and it just clicked. I was like, that's it. That's what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Nice. Have you had that moment yet where things just kind of click?
Oh yeah. I mean, it's every time I get on stage, it's just it's a rush. It's an adrenaline rush. The closest thing that's ever matched that feeling was when I jumped out of an airplane at 13,000 feet this past November. It's insane how much adrenaline from being on stage, really, I mean, they're pretty close. I mean, jumping out of an airplane, man,
that's one thing I have not done yet. I don't know if I have the tenacity to pull that one off. I've done I've been like up in a hot air balloon. That was pretty wild. And I've always kind of wanted to go bungee jumping, but for whatever
Oh yeah,
reason,
that's
jumping out of an airplane just,
hey
I
dude,
don't
you just gotta I just put it in the back of my mind, like just showed up with my friend, one of my best friends from high school,
right?
roped me into it. She actually lives in Nashville as well now, and she's
Nice.
doing like makeup and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But she roped me into it, and I was just like, all right, well, sure, I'll do it. And just showed up, put it in the back of my mind. I was pretty disassociated like the whole day up until
Mhm.
that point. And then it hit me like when I was on the edge of the airplane, like getting ready to jump out. And I was like, oh crap, what have I got myself into?
Right. I feel like if anything though, that first jump is probably the safest you'll ever be
Yeah.
because you got to do like the jump buddy thing.
Yeah.
And it for me it'd be like if I were to like really get into it and have to do like my first solo jump, and then it's like, oh shit, if I die, it's on me. Like,
Yeah.
so
Oh, yeah.
it is what it is.
The blame would be all on you, buddy.
Right. So you've been in Nashville now for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I take it the project that you currently have out, you really recorded. Did you record that in Nashville before you came
I,
there, or?
I did. I was 18 or 19 at the time, and I spent my entire life savings. And
Nice.
I drove down here to Nashville, and I recorded this little EP called Wildfire, and all the songs I wrote by myself in my bedroom at mom and daddy's house. And I thought I was a little bad. I don't know if I'm allowed to cuss on here,
Go for it.
but
Go
I
for it.
thought I was a little badass, and I was going to write about smoking and drinking. And really it was about coming into wanting to be wild and get it out. I was you turn as soon as you turn 17, 18, you turn on. The
Right.
wild starts to go crazy, and hormones are insane, and
Right.
it encases
Right.
that coming into your adulthood and wanting
Right.
to buck the system.
Right. It's so funny when you're 17, 18, 19 years old, what you think is a wild, what thinks makes you a wild child is like, to any like normal 30-year-old, it's like, yeah, that's like a standard Tuesday night.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I mean, I look back on it now and I'm like, I mean, I'm living it. I've
right.
lived it. Not so
Right.
much anymore, but
Yeah.
I've lived it.
It is just one of those things where it's just like, obviously you don't know what you don't know, but
Mhm.
as you get older, it's like, man, that's just like every day. Like,
Living life.
go smoke a cigarette, drink a beer,
Oh yeah.
do that thing. So
I had a cigarette problem for sure.
I feel that. I feel that.
Especially, growing up in Kentucky, I mean, a lot of my family smoked,
Hmm.
I was around cigarettes for a long time.
Hmm.
And I started smoking when I was probably 16. I was about 16. I started sneaking smokes,
Yeah.
having my older buddies buy them for me. That was back when the legal age was 18. Because,
Yeah.
they had switched it like what, 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years
Probably. Yeah.
ago to 21. So it was easily accessible
Yeah.
for me to sneak around my mama.
Fair. You know, actually, now that you mentioned that, I was watching. So I honestly, I didn't realize until a couple of weeks ago that they had upped the legal age to buy cigarettes till 21. I was watching TV or something. They said something about it on a newscast, and I was like, oh, that was an unfortunate typo or a mistake or whatever. And they're like, no, they upped the legal age to buy cigarettes to
Oh
21. I
yeah,
was just like, since when? Like, and then yeah,
yeah.
that was a whole rude
It
awakening.
was. Hey, that was really heartbreaking for my little. I had just turned 18, man. Like I was fresh 18, and probably about a month or two later, it was.
Yeah,
I
right.
was livid.
So you basically had enough time, in theory, to start a habit and then be told, well, you can't smoke no more.
Yeah,
So,
I still found my ways.
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Um, so then you said you moved to Nashville about 2 years ago,
Yeah.
after dropping out of community college and all that. How's Nashville been treating you as a musician? Like, did you just kind of jump in with both feet, or was there like an adjustment period?
Oh yeah, and I mean, I was coming to Nashville, 2 years or so before I made the move, because I had made friends through social media, and writing and stuff, and then I recorded the record, and started meeting, started networking, and
Hmm.
made the move, and I mean, it's everything I thought it would be, everything I ever imagined, and I mean, I've met some of the best friends that I'll ever have in my entire life. And I've learned more about myself and uh, developed more as an artist, and had a great time, learned some lessons, a
Hmm.
lot of lessons, but grown up a lot since I made the move. And Nashville has taught me a lot, and
Okay.
I love it. And I ain't never going nowhere. I'll be
Okay.
right here.
I dig it. I dig it. Actually, the Instagram connection is kind of how I got introduced to you. Went down the rabbit hole of like, hey, who are my friends, or like who are my friends recommending? Like, you know how
Right.
Instagram's got the
Mm-hmm.
recommended through friends or whatever.
Yep.
And I came across your page, and we have like 200 or 300 people in common. And I'm like, I don't know who this kid is, but let's take a look. And sure as shooting, it's like, oh. Okay, well, let's get this guy on. So,
Yeah, I was watching some of your previous podcasts, and you
mhm.
got a few. You got a few of my acquaintances, friends
Yeah,
on here. So I was like, oh, okay.
yeah, it's I go deep. Like it's just one of those. And honestly, the feed that you were listening to, that's only from this year and last year. I rebranded at the end of 2023,
Yeah,
and so all of 20, like there's a whole catalog going all the way back to like 2016.
yeah.
So it,
I just watched the other day the one you had Meg Riley on,
yeah,
Meg and the boys. Hey
yeah.
Meg, shout out.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in a while. I need to reach back out to
I haven't
her.
talked to
So
her in a while either, but she was of my like friend group and the people that I've met and that I know. Meg was one of the first, and there's so many different connections that we had and mutuals, and
mhm.
she introduced me to some people, and she's I've known Meg. We've known each
that's
other probably about 4 years or so.
that's cool. That's
Yeah.
really, and that's the hard thing about Nashville is like all these people that especially during the pandemic,
Mm,
it was like once, twice a week, we would just go on like a 10, 15 minute conversation, even away from the podcast. And it's like,
yeah.
never met this person in my life. Don't know if I could pick them out of a lineup if I was standing right in front of them,
Right.
all these different things. And it's like, they were some of the like during the especially during the pandemic when there wasn't like a whole lot of like physical get-togethers and whatnot. It was
Yep.
Nashville was kind of a like a virtual place I like to hang out virtually, if you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah. See, I was still in Kentucky when the pandemic started, so I've
Mhm.
never really known the music business in Nashville before COVID,
Mhm.
and everything's so different from what I
Mhm.
hear. COVID was a weird time, man.
Yeah,
It was so weird.
especially for you because you were probably out of high school at that point, right? When it
Yeah,
started.
I graduated in 2019, and
Yeah.
then COVID started in 2020.
So you basically went to community college during COVID, and
Yeah, that was strange too.
right.
Got to do a lot of it virtual though, like at home, which that was nice. But I still had a few little in-person classes, and you had to be 6 feet apart.
Right.
So the whole classroom was so spread out.
It's like, hey, buddy, what are you doing over? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
that whole thing. I feel it. So where are you kind of at creatively right now? Obviously, it's been a little bit since you put out a full project. I'm guessing that's
Yeah.
probably because you
That's
moved
been
to Nashville, or
that's been four years. I released Wildfire January 1st, 2021.
Mhm.
My first little project. Uh, And then it's funny enough though, when I moved to Nashville, I moved on January 1st, 20, I guess that's 2022 now,
Yeah,
2022. So I guess January 1st is a good date for me.
right.
A new beginning. a new beginning. But yeah, I'm working on a little project. I've done a lot of growing, and I've been writing around Nashville for 2 years now, and I've just been learning as much as I can and building myself up. But this project I'm working on is it's called The Ghost of Coal Mine Country. It's an EP I'm working on,
Yes.
but it's autobiographical. I wanted to write about my journey from, growing up in a small town and coming up in the music industry and moving here and heartbreak and love, and it's fun. It's so much fun, and I can't wait for everybody to hear it. It's definitely me. It's
Nice.
it's really vulnerable too, putting yourself out there like that. Like, hey, I'm like laying it all out here for y'all,
Right.
but it's it's so much fun.
Yeah, for sure. Who would you say, like, during the process of putting this project together, have you been like listening to anybody specifically for like
Oh
influences, or
gosh.
is it just kind of?
It's so many. It's so many. I listen to so much music, and I mean, uh, I've developed like this certain little style that I'm doing over the time. Like it was Wildfire was definitely a developing me because every aspect of that EP, I got to have creative freedom, and I mean, it was 100% Dawson Cole, through and through.
So you kind of just maintained your own style, and
Yeah.
that's where you're at.
Yeah, but I
Right.
listen to so much music. I have influences everywhere. My friends inspire me. Uh, I take I take in a lot. Like with life and everything around me and the people around me. I just want to learn. I want to take it all in as much as I can.
Right. I feel it. So with this new upcoming project, have you been working on it since the release of Wildfire, or has there been like a little bit of a break in between?
I've never really had time for a break very much. I've always just been grinding it out, slowly. I just wanted to learn and grow myself as an artist. So I took some time from recording and releasing to kind of to find my lane.
Hmm.
I had a good sense of it, and I had a good sense of who I am as an artist. But I know even more now.
Hmm.
Like
I feel it. So you kind of took the time to like really hone the musicianship.
yes. Oh
Sweet.
yeah. I wanted to, learn more about singing, so I got in with a vocal coach and more about writing, and I have my co-writers and my team
Hmm.
now, and I wanted to just be better, be as good as I can get.
I feel it. I feel it. So with the upcoming release of your new EP, what's kind of running through your mind? Obviously, you're still a little ways out from it, but like, where are you kind of at mentally? Are you like worried about marketing? Are you just trying to get it done? Like, where you
Oh,
kind of?
everything. I'm worried about everything. I'm just a nervous person as it is. So I'm ADHD too, really bad. So my brain's always going. I'm always
Right.
thinking about it, and I'm always thinking of what I want to do. With the ADHD, sometimes it makes it harder to execute very much. It takes me a little bit, but I've just working
Right.
on it. I'm excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Nice. Now, is everything like done, ready to go, or are you still kind of like in the recording mixing process?
Everything is done and ready to go. Now it's all about marketing
Fair.
and social media, which I cannot stand. I cannot begin to tell you how much I hate social media.
Is it because the consistency in which you have to put stuff out, or is
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
Right.
it's that. I mean, sorry I interrupt, but
That,
it's that, and just the algorithm is so like touch and go, like it's hard. It's taken a while to figure it out.
right. Right.
And I work another little part-time gig, when I'm not doing music and stuff, just to be able to feed myself because y'all know musicians don't make that much. So
Right.
especially in the beginning stages, uh, what was I saying, Lord?
No, you were we were talking about social media,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
but I 100% like vibe with that because it's like, I've got my day job. I leave the house at 8 a.m. and I don't get back most days until damn near 5.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. And then I come here and I got to do the podcast. If I'm lucky, I've only got one. Today I've got like three. So it's like, I'm
Right.
not going to eat until almost 8 o'clock tonight. And then afterwards, it's like, I'm going to have to do some social stuff. And it's like, I just want to go to sleep, like at
Yeah.
this point in the day. But now I got to sit up and grind it out on the social media stuff. So
Oh
I,
yeah.
I
Hey, it's
100% get
hard,
it.
man. It's hard. It's hard to find that balance too,
Hmm.
because I'm so busy.
Hmm.
I mean, I got to work. I'm at the restaurant probably 4 days a week,
Nice.
sometimes five. But when I'm not there, I'm writing or recording videos, editing TikToks, posting, trying to stay as busy as I can.
Right. I feel it. So I'm guessing you're what, probably a server at the
Yeah.
restaurant?
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
What kind of, I won't ask you what restaurant, but what kind of food do you guys serve?
It's a steakhouse.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to know that. There's some weirdos out there,
Right.
man.
Oh yeah. I when I first started doing YouTube when I was in 2006,
Oh dang.
2007. Yeah. I was a janitor at a bowling alley and some guy randomly found my YouTube videos because I was like really big into bowling back then. Like that was the thing that me and my friends always did. And so I started a bowling YouTube channel. I was like, yeah, it works. And this guy would just come in and be like, dude, that ball you threw was because I was just like, it was like, man, you got to stop coming in here because you don't buy nothing, you don't do nothing. Just,
Oh yeah. Hey, people are mean on
yeah,
social media too. People
yeah,
are brutal.
right.
They're
Right.
brutal in the restaurant too, let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh,
People
well,
are awful, man.
well, I mean, it's what you're dealing with their food, and if they think you mess something up, they're gonna
Oh
let you
yeah.
know.
It's
So,
like, hey, I am just here to bring you your food and make sure you have a good time.
right,
Like, I don't make it for you.
right, right.
I have
I feel
nothing
it.
to do with that. I feel you, because I'm a picky eater. I feel you on, wanting your food a certain way, but I
Right.
mean, Lord, I
And
don't cook it.
you don't got to be a dick about it for the
Yeah,
most
don't
part.
shoot the messenger now. Don't shoot
Right,
the messenger.
right.
I'm just here.
Nice. Oh, so when you're not working or doing music, what do you like to get into?
Well, I really don't have time, I mean, music is my life. I mean, I've been doing it so long, and I mean, it's bred into me,
Mhm.
like I can't escape it. I don't want to escape it.
Okay.
It's my passion. It's my dream. So I really don't do much other than music, and even I could say hanging with friends.
Mhm.
But usually when I'm hanging with friends, we're talking about how our careers are going. We're
Mhm.
listening to each other's songs. We're talking about music. We're talking about the
Okay.
music industry. I
Right.
never escape.
So there's not like a Dawson Cole prog rock project on the side that you're just like messing around with because you liked progressive rock music when you were 17 years old?
No, I mean, it's country all the way,
Okay.
all the way. Now, I will say I don't want to limit myself to just be a country artist because I'm not. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
country and I will always be country. I mean, you can hear it.
Yeah.
I get compliments on it every day at
Yeah.
work. Trust me.
Yeah. I, honestly, not gonna lie, had I not done the Google search earlier today to find out, like, because I was just trying to get a little bit of a background on you, had I not done that and just kind of came in cold turkey, I would have known right off the rip that you were from Kentucky.
Really?
That Kentucky accent is so defined. Like it's like, yep, this dude is from Kentucky.
Well, sometimes I get Mississippi and I'm like, I
Mm,
don't I don't see that. I have a lot of friends from Mississippi and they don't sound like me. Nobody
no,
sounds like me.
no. It's Mississippi is a little bit. I would imagine to me, Mississippi is drunk Kentucky.
Yeah, I could.
It,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a little bit more unclear. Like if that makes any kind of sense. But
Right.
yeah,
Hey,
so
now my buddy from Mississippi, though, I always like to say, hey, I mean, you might be from Mississippi, but I promise you, I'm more southern than you are.
fair. That's funny. I love it. Um, so growing up in Kentucky, who was kind of like that obviously you'd mentioned earlier that like you grew up in the church and that's was kind of your introduction,
Yep.
but who was your like family like pushing you to go into music or they'd want you like to
Oh,
become a
no.
farmer
Oh,
or something?
no. No, they wanted me to do something with my life, and
Fair.
get an education and uh, be something to make money and survive, because I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't grow up rich, and I'm not, blue collar. My daddy
Hmm.
was a coal miner for years, and they struggled. They always kept a roof over our head and food on the table, thank God.
Yeah.
I know that's not the case for everybody in the world, but I was uh, I was affected, no, I saw it, I saw people struggling, my family struggling, I've always been around that,
Hmm.
but uh mom and daddy definitely did not push me to music for that
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
but they also introduced me to music too,
Fair.
because I mean, just riding in the car with my mama to go to the tobacco shack to get cigarettes. I mean, we were listening to Dolly, we were listening to Miranda Lambert, Steve Miller Band, Fleetwood
Yeah.
Mac. I mean, Joan Jett. I mean, Leonard Skinner. I mean, here there. I mean, I was
Yeah.
cultured in rock, pop, country. For my whole life, gospel, of course.
Hmm. Yeah. I feel that. And so it was kind of their introduction to music that kind of squashed their dreams of you not going into the music industry.
I guess.
That's fair. Was there a world where you thought that you might end up in the coal mines or?
Yeah, I mean that was a fear, my whole life
Hmm.
that I would have to. Um, but my dad always told me, like whatever you do, you do whatever you got to do to not have to go to the coal mines. If I got to send you to school, like whatever,
Hmm.
like I don't want you in them coal mines. It ain't.
Fair,
That's not you. It's not for you.
fair,
Yeah.
fair. Which that's really interesting because like I remember growing up, I'd watch all. There's a few different movies that I watched, and it wasn't Kentucky centric. It was more up the East Coast where it was movies based around kids coming out of the coal or kids' families were in like the coal mining towns in like the 50s and 60s and stuff like that. And like their parents were always about them getting into the coal mines. Like this is the backbone of America. You should be proud to work in the coal mines. And that's kind of interesting that your dad was just kind of like, nah, nah, don't do it. So
Yeah. It's
it's
hard. Hey, it's hard work. I've seen it, the
mm,
toll that it takes on your body too, and the mental stress of it too. My granddad was also a coal miner, and
mm-hmm,
he has COPD,
yeah,
and I've known, my uncle has the black lung, I mean, my dad has arthritis, and
mm-hmm,
and it takes a toll on your body working in hunched over 3 foot
mm-hmm,
tall conditions for years,
yeah,
and
yeah.
breathing in all that coal dust.
Oh yeah. My dad or my grandpa used to he didn't work in the steel mills, but he was a an electrician for like the communities around the steel mills. So like basically where
Right.
all the steel mill workers lived, he was a an electrician there and he had COPD and like all this random shit like he had breathing problems all the way up until the day
Yeah.
he died and it's just like I'm so glad I left South Chicago and the steel, like the area that we lived in was like very
Uh,
steel heavy.
yeah.
Um, and yeah, like I know that's a little bit different, but it's yeah.
Hey, it's still hard work though.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
Yeah.
So, kind of looking forward with your music. How often are you playing out right now? Are you playing pretty consistently or are you kind of focused on like the creating and recording?
For the past, I mean, 6 months or the past since I've been here, I've been grinding it out with shows, I mean, I probably play like 3 or 4 shows a month,
Nice.
That's the balance that I got going right now. I'd like to to be full time and be able to do, 3 or 4 shows a week. But hey, I'm slow and steady wins the race. I'm going at my own pace and building myself, so maybe one day we'll be there, but
Nice.
for the past month or two, I've been focusing, on the release and getting stuff done there and getting some more money. So I've been working a little extra at work,
Yeah, for sure. Hey, get in there, get the project promoted, and
Yeah.
get it out for the
Oh
people to
yeah.
hear.
Oh
So
yeah, I'm excited.
now, are these all songs that people have heard you play before, or are they
Oh yeah.
100% brand new?
Oh yeah. I've been playing them out and about.
Sweet.
I always like to take them out and test them, and see if they get a good reaction. If I enjoy playing it, and singing it, then I've made the decision. And creatively too, that has something to do with it too. If all the songs flow together and make sense together, and trying to find the right one that's hopefully going to do well.
Yeah. I mean, especially at this young of an age and this point in your career, I feel like you've got to be very strategic with your releases,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah.
You don't really have the luxury, especially like when you're spending every dime you got to go into the studio. You can't necessarily try and take like, oh, I feel really good about this song. I'm gonna just go record it and release it.
Right. And see, that's what I did the first time, with Wildfire. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm proud of it. It did well. I was a little baby, but I've definitely learned slow and steady is the right way to go, because I just released the thing and I see it could have done a lot better if I had
Mm-hmm.
taken my time, not run into it, excited as hell, and, strategize, what?
Strategized.
Strategize. I, I mean, I ain't good with words. Hey, I can
Hey,
sing, but when it comes to talking, I don't know.
fair. You know, that excitement about projects does not get any easier to kind of pull back the reins as you get older.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like nowadays, it's like I get a project in the back of my head, or we start working on something, and it's like it starts off getting like a little bit of success, and it's like, all right, let's pour the gasoline, let's go,
Yeah.
and then that's when like everything starts to run off the rails, and it's like, nope, just let it be what it's gonna be.
Mm-hmm.
Get the next one ready, and don't try and push it until you have the support to push it.
Oh yeah, you gotta pull back them reins sometimes. Whoa, buddy. Hey,
Right?
slow down. Your time's gonna come.
Yeah. We started doing a live podcast thing, and like everything in the back, we've had a couple of shows, like we'll do it out at like bars and stuff like that. And the last couple that we've done have had like really good turnouts. And I'm sitting here like, we need to go. Like, this is something. We need to hit the road. We need to go. We need to do like 10 in a row. And it's like, we've never done more than like one show in a weekend.
Mhm.
And it's like if we do 10 in a row by like episode or like day 4 or 5, we're gonna want to kill each other. Like
Right.
it's not gonna fly. And so luckily my co-host that does them with me, luckily he's done like the band touring thing.
Right.
And he's like, dude, pull back the reins. We're fine. Like just keep building the momentum. I
Yeah.
know it's exciting. I'm excited
Oh
too,
yeah.
but pull it back. So
Oh yeah. Hey, that's what gets people excited, You just gotta just build up momentum.
oh yeah, and it's like you don't want to put all your chips in at once, but
No.
you just got to keep taking your shots when you can get them. So
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of moving forward, one thing that we like to do with every guest that comes on is pass on a little bit of information. Obviously, you're still
Right.
very young in your career for as a musician, but what's a piece of advice you've received since moving to Nashville that you want to pass on to the young ones out there?
Piece of advice. Lord, I don't know. That's a good question. I get a lot of advice all the time. Um, I have a great team and some great people around me, trying to lead me in the right direction. But, man, that's hard. Probably to take it slow. to go my own pace, to to go slow, go your own pace, you know. You're your own person. You're not everybody else. Everybody's different. Everybody's situation is different, and your destinies are all different, you know. So just learn and grow.
For sure. Agreed. So if anybody wants to check out your music, new project coming out here real soon, I'm sure you'll announce dates and all that fun stuff as we get closer. Where's the best place to find you online?
You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, wherever, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, everywhere at Dawson Cole Music.
Nice. For as much as you hate social media, you seem to be all over the place on that one.
Well, I mean, I figured I have a lot of eggs, you know. I just spread them all out. It's all in one basket, but Lord, I got a lot of them. It's hard to keep up with, but I try to stay in touch with everybody everywhere. So
I dig it. I love it. So once again, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute blast chatting with you. Thank you for being flexible because shit was going south.
Hey man, hey, I get it. Yeah. Plans go haywire sometimes. I get it.
Right. But glad we got you on. So
of course. Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you everybody for tuning in, and we will catch you all later. Thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Live and Amplified's Indie Fusion podcast. If you'd like to support anything Live and Amplified does, please follow us on all of our social media platforms at Live, the letter N, Amplified. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, Threads, any of them, all of them, at Live, the letter N, Amplified. And if you would like to buy any official Live and Amplified merch, you can do so at our merch shop, link in the description below. Once again, thank you all. Have a great day.